Hey everyone, welcome to Banda's Pallets. We're doing a lot of milling today, so let me just show you how I set up my power feeder. So if you ever buy one, they are awesome. I used to use, I still do, if I'm doing just a few cuts, using push sticks to get things through, which that's great. But if you want to have something to where you're not really putting a lot of pressure on your shoulders to like make sure that it's straight repeatable cuts, this is the way to go. So I'm going to first unplug my machine so there's no power, so I have it unplugged. And then these are 1.5-inch strips, so I just have this little block that helps me to set it up. So what I'll do is I'll just make sure that we're set up here. And then we'll just slide it through to make sure that it'll slide through with no friction, and we're good to go here. And right here, after I get it set up, then I'll move the blade up just slightly so that it doesn't hit the wheels. But for now, I'm going to have the blade down here just so that the wheels don't mess with that. So I'm going to use my mag switches and I have little lines right here marked out where this will go into. So then I'll use my mag switches, and usually I use 2, but I also use this as my holder of my mag switches, so then more doesn't hurt. So then I'll get my F clamps on each side. Before I used the mag switches, I used to use 2 F clamps on each side, but now I just use 1. This is good to go. And then next thing, we're going to adjust the power feeder. So I just put a little Velcro strap here to keep the cord from going all over the place, and then I'll put that back like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to release this, and this is going to help the unit to twist here. So there's three ways that you can adjust this. So we're going to adjust it here. So we're going to twist it over here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let it down, and I let it down right here I let it just rest there. And then I'm gonna undo over here. There's also a knob over here, so I'm loosening here, and then over here on the actual, like, the unit itself. So let me kind of get this situated here where I want it. All right, so then we're gonna, if you can see, let me show you under here. So right under here we have 3 wheels, so I'm going to have to make sure that those 3 wheels are touching this wood board here. So I'm going to, making sure that this is loose, I'm going to move it over and just kind of set it right, kind of where I know that it's touching the board underneath there. So then I'm going to go ahead and lock this so that it doesn't twist anymore. And then I'm going to make sure that my power feeder is, you can do this multiple ways. You can do it to where the wheels are kind of turning in towards the fence, but for me, I just make sure that the wheels are, or that the unit is touching the fence. So then I'll tighten that up, and then what I'll do here, now that I know that the power feeder is on top of that little setup block, then I'm going to push down and tighten this right here. So this just helps so that it's not going up and down. So I'm going to push down, and then I'm going to tighten this adjustment here. So then we're ready to go. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, and then we're going to do a test with that setup block to make sure that it's feeding correctly. And you could adjust the speed of how you want, and so let's check it out. So we're going to feed it in here. And all I'm wanting to make sure here is that it's feeding it smoothly. There's no like hiccups, or it's not rubbing on anything. So that was good. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in our vacuum attachment here on top. And then I already have my dust collectors for the bottom part, so it's collecting the dust from the top, and it's also collecting the dust from the bottom on my dust collector here. So I have this other block too. So what you'll notice is when the pieces of board come through, they'll tend to like go at an angle like that. So what happens sometimes is if it's too long of a board, it'll make the power feeder go off adjustment. So I have this little block here that helps to, once it gets right to this spot here, the next piece will help to push it through. So this just helps to where the power feeder doesn't get out of alignment and just doesn't get all crazy, because especially how expensive wood is nowadays, you want to make sure that you're not messing up any pieces of wood. So now what I do is I just use an F clamp here. I'll tighten this up here. Just so that doesn't go anywhere. And this, it was supposed to be like everything else in the shop. It's supposed to be temporary, but it's worked, and I just haven't messed with it since, so it works. So it's going to get a little loud, and I'm going to show you how it looks when it's all working and cutting correctly. So let me move this back. And I have this support piece right here so that when the wood gets through here, it doesn't just fall off, because I have my table right here. So let me go ahead and turn all this on, and you'll see it in action.